darlings, this is Krista K and I'm back again with another video. Now, I know that if you have TikTok, you have scrolled and at some point you have heard the "in my asshole" blah 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 blah. If you, girl, it is 4 p.m. where I am. People are going home. Mind the cars. But I know that if you've been on YouTube as well, you've seen a lot of "am I the a-hole" post. Now me, sometimes when I listen to the story, I'm be like, they're not the asshole. But everybody in the comment section are like, they're the asshole. So I'm just gonna do this with y'all. Y'all can always tell me if I'm wrong. Let's have a discussion. Y'all could always tell me if I'm wrong. Y'all could always tell me if I'm not wrong. It's a really long video, so I'm gonna cut it in half. I'm gonna see where I'm gonna stop, where I'm gonna continue the next one. So this is gonna be part 1, and then I'll do a part 2 later on. So without further ado, let's get our screen recorder on. Did I tell y'all about, girl, I be struggling with my screen recorder because sometimes it just don't want to work. It be telling me it's on strike, and you can't force the computer to not be on strike. So we're gonna react to the "am I the asshole?" Let's see which ones we agree with, which ones we don't agree with, and yeah, let's go. Why did I do that? I don't know.
TikTok, you don't stop to the TikTok, you don't stop.
Am I the asshole for buying my cousin's dream car to prove a point?
I know, we're just like 2 seconds in, but from the jump, I'm petty. So if it's on some, oh, my cousin was trying to prove that they make more money than me, so I bought the car because, yes. Is it very Christian of me to want to do that? No. But am I still mad petty and I was gonna do it regardless? Yeah. Let's get it. So far, to me, you're not the asshole because I would do that. Let's get it.
26-year-old female work a corporate job at a major fast food chain. I won't say the exact title, but I don't work at an office. Most of my time visiting and coaching stores and associates. Because of this, my family seems to be under the impression that my job is a loser job, despite me making well over $150,000 a year.
I don't like family members like that. Like, bro, we don't all have to be doctors, lawyers, whatever to make big money. Like, this is not the 1980s. People make money regardless of what it is that they call a conventional job. So far, bestie, whatever you're about to do after this, you right.
I think this perception is exasperated by the fact that I'm a frugal person who doesn't tend to surround myself with expensive things. My cousin, 34-year-old male, is a physics professor at a nearby state university and has done very little to hide the fact that he looks down on my job. From what I understand, we make similar money, but he's still paying off his doctorate degree. I didn't go to college. He has a much bigger house and mortgage and 2 kids. I'm child-free, meaning I have much more disposable income than him. For nearly 2 years,
so he jealous. You make the same amount, you ain't got no debt, you ain't got no kids, and you live free. Girl, just jealous. If it's a boy, I'm sorry, but girl is like a person, but like, he jealous. It is what it is.
He's been talking about how he really wants a Tesla Model X and how he's slowly saving money for it. He'll joke about how much he wants it by describing how he sees it in his dreams in exquisite detail. Well, several months back while we were at my aunt's birthday party, my cousin made yet another backhanded joke about when I get a real job and make real money, and it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I was so beyond done. I went back home immediately after the party and ordered a Tesla Model X for myself, exactly to the specifications he has described. So a couple of weeks ago, I picked up my car and brought it home. I didn't tell a single soul in my family I bought it. But yesterday, I had plans to pick up my cousin's older son to babysit, and I knew it was finally time. I rolled up to my cousin's house in my shiny new Tesla that I washed and polished just that morning specifically for this meetup. Needless to say, cousin was pissed. He asked me all about it with strained enthusiasm and got visibly more angry the more he noticed it was just like the one he wanted. So, in what I would assume was retaliation, he tried to make a comment about, wow, it must have been an adventure and a half to find a bank willing to give you a loan like this. I laughed him off and casually told him I wouldn't know since I paid in cash, which is true. He questioned me, so I pulled up a picture on my phone of the title with my name on it. I think that was what broke him because he quickly ended the conversation and went back inside. But now I've been getting messages from his siblings saying how I'm a petty bitch. Even my mom said that she thought he was an ass, but I shouldn't have escalated just because I could. And while I adore my new car, getting back at my cousin wasn't as satisfying as I thought I'd be. So I'm really beginning to wonder if I am the asshole here. Am I?
No, nigga, you was not. People listen. I hate this. This is what. Listen, this is. It gets my butt blowing when I listen to these things, because y'all weren't all up in my ass. Can I say all these words? Anyways, y'all weren't all up on my case when he was making fun of my income, when he was making fun of who I was. Y'all weren't all up in his ass. Y'all were telling him, don't say that, don't talk like that, da da da. When I get my revenge, you wanna talk shit? You should have told that. It's the logic. It's the logic. Fuck around and find out. Babes, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care. You were talking all that shit and I was like, babes, fuck around and find out. That's what you did. That's what you did. Y'all ain't got no rights to judge me. None. Cause when I was getting my ass handed to me, when he was making all those backhanded comments, ain't nobody was coming at my rescue. Ain't nobody was telling him to stop. Now I got the car and I'm making him feel like Schneiser. Y'all wanna talk? Girl, never. Could never be me. At that point, I cut y'all off as well, because where was the energy when I needed y'all to back me up when he was making fun of me?
The asshole for refusing to apologize for throwing away my dinner instead of letting my fiance have it. I, female 22.
Girl, I don't like wasting food, but I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish because, once again, I say I'm petty. So if it's for a good reason, I will allow you to throw the food away. Even though you could have pretended and then put it somewhere else. Like, girl, why you throw food?
Have been with my fiance, male 20, for 2 years, and we recently got engaged. I handle cooking while he takes care of other stuff, including rent and utilities. He usually tells me what he'd like to eat for dinner. Note, I only cook dinner 3 times a week. Other than that, we have plenty of leftovers. Last night, I cooked dinner early because he wanted to eat early.
Am I the only one that doesn't like the fact that she was like, he tells me what to cook? If you could tell me what to cook, babes, you could get in the kitchen and cook yourself. You're supposed to be eating whatever I want to serve you, but I digress.
I prepared his plate and put my plate in the fridge, ready to reheat for later. I finished with studying and took a shower, then went into the kitchen to reheat my dinner and sat at the table by myself and began eating. My fiance came out of the bedroom, saying he smelled the food while he was inside playing video games and thought of joining me because he was hungry. Without even asking, he put his hands on my plate, wanting to eat from it. I stopped him and told him he was being selfish as he already ate his, a larger portion of what was cooked for dinner, and the food on my plate was barely enough for me. He complained about being hungry from playing video games.
No, come on. Dude, brain power, dude. That takes a lot of energy.
You know how much muscles in my thumbs? I have to feed these beasts.
He made a face and went to grab a spoon so we could eat together. I pulled my plate away and pointed at the fridge, telling him there was some leftovers in the fridge and he could go ahead and reheat that if he was so hungry. He refused and insisted to share my dinner. I stood my ground and I didn't let him. He got all pissed, threw his spoon in the sink, and spit in my plate.
Oh, Jesus.
Now hear me clearly when I say this. This is grounds for me to beat your ass. Because one, listen, I was about to give, this nigga a pass if he hadn't eaten. Okay? You ate yours. You finished it. The plate probably in the sink. You went to go play. That means you weren't hungry all this time. You saw me eating my food that I didn't even eat. And you gonna come and demand. He didn't even ask. He was basically demanding, because obviously I should be like, oh, could we please? If you is this hungry and there's food in the fridge, why ain't you eating the food in the fridge? Oh, because you want to try me. This is grounds for assault. I will beat you. And then you're going to spit. The African in me would have beat you with the shikot. I don't know if you know what that is, but my African people will tell you that shikot, that chancla, I would have ended your life. Because that is just tomfoolery. That's just idiots. Woo!
Fucking Christ.
Wow.
What an insane reaction.
What a turn.
I was 100% taken by surprise and was so livid. I shouted, "What the fuck did you just do?" He just smirked at me, telling me to enjoy as he walked out.
Oh, God, this guy's so fucking cool.
I called him fucking childish, and he turned around and walked back in saying I was the one acting like a high school bully for refusing to let him share my dinner and telling him to just have leftovers. I said he was being selfish and petty to spit in my plate to stop me from eating, and he managed to do it. I was so upset I couldn't eat what was in my plate. It was gross and disgusting. I threw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
And he threw another fit asking why I would throw away perfect food, and he was counting on me giving it to him after he spit on it. We had a major fight, probably the biggest fight we've ever had thus far.
Makes sense.
He says that I was wrong. I escalated, and he wants me to apologize first so we could put this past us, but I said no way. I'm not apologizing after he ruined my dinner and disregarded the time and effort I made to prepare it.
First of all, it's one thing. Like, listen, I've been in a relationship before. I'm currently not in a relationship, thank the Lord Jesus, because I'm working on myself. But I've been in relationships before where let's say I order something and I don't particularly like it, and then my man ordered something else, and I want to try that because it looks good. I would always ask him, "Oh, can I have?" And then if he says no, yes, I would sulk and use the fact that I'm his girl against him. But at the same time, I would still let it go because that's his food. The same way with me, if he wanted something off of my plate, which is one thing that, shout out to my ex, even though we broke up badly and it was terrible. But my ex had to, like, he never used to eat from my plate. I had to legit be like, eat something, like, do you want to try it? And then, because he'd be looking at my plate, but he would never ask. So I'd be like, do you want to try it? And I'd force it down his throat. So I understand the whole sharing because you're in a relationship. I understand, that's completely understandable. But you basically forcing her to give you her food, knowing damn well that that food is not even enough for her, then proceeding to get on her neck about the situation, then spitting on her food and expecting for her to magically be like, "Oh my God, because he spat on my food, I'm gonna like give him the food." No, bestie, she was gonna throw it. To me, it's the whole, there's food in the fridge. Bestie, there's food in the fridge. You could just dish up for yourself. I don't know how you say that. I think that's how Americans say it. This is how South Africans say it. You could just dish up for yourself and eat if you were that hungry. You were not hungry. You just wanted to dominate over her or whatever you want to call it, or show that you're her boss or whatever. And she was like, "I'm not having none of it." And listen, I'm not one to scream, break up, divorce, whatever. But girl, that man is no good. That man is disgusting.
For walking out on my husband's birthday dinner when his sister was complaining about her fertility. My husband's parents threw my husband a birthday dinner at their home.
Fertility means she can't have kids. She can't have kids. I mean, in these situations, if it's about, because I have personal experience with people that can't have kids. So if it's a type of thing where you like, she feels bad about not having kids and stuff like that, and she's just saying it, probably you are the asshole. But if it's like, this is a constant, she's always making she's alluding to her not being able to have kids and stuff like that, and it's like a constant thing, then you're not.
Last Saturday. During dinner, his sister announced she was pregnant with her 6th child. Everyone congratulated her and my husband grew quiet. He and I had been trying for a baby for...
Oh, so it's so the sister can have a bunch of, like, her sister is incredibly fertile, but the sister-in-law isn't. Oh, you is not the asshole. Because I personally do not have that experience. Once again, I've never been married, never had a kid, haven't had sex. But it's like the pain of people like reminding you that you can't have kids, that must hurt. I know for me, just seeing somebody that I know experience that, and people constantly making like reference of how she doesn't have her own kids, it hurt my soul. So if that's somebody that's like your family doing it, girl.
For 7 years now and only just saved the money for IVF. Once the commotion about the new member of the family settled, my sister-in-law started her usual commentary on how much it sucks to be so fertile. She said she feels like she'll never be able to stop having kids because the pill and contraceptive injection both failed, and now she's not a good fit for an IUD. She even pointed out that she'd been pregnant so often they don't even need to have full sex anymore for her to get knocked up. Am I the asshole for walking out of my...
Why would she? And the thing is, right? I'm not against you announcing your pregnancy, but why would you say like that around somebody that can't have kids or that's struggling to have kids? Have we lost empathy? Have we lost sympathy? Like, do we just say whatever it is just to hurt? Like, bro. And then I promise you, if sister-in-law reacts, she's the bad guy. But you've been throwing shots at me. And the thing is, something that my dad has said to me a lot of the times is that when a woman is infertile, like she can't have kids or she's struggling to have kids, and the blame is put on her, it's 10 times more, like it's 10 times worse than if it's on the man. Because on the woman, all of a sudden, the man's side of the family will constantly be like, just go get another girl pregnant. It's not like she can give you kids, yada, yada, yada. So now imagine the dynamic already in that family, because they know she can't have kids or she's struggling to have kids, and you're constantly putting this in her face. Oh, you're not.
My husband's birthday dinner when his sister was complaining about her fertility. I couldn't take it and walked out. My husband followed me and I could see he was holding back some tears too. He apologized for saying nothing and I said he didn't need to because he was obviously struggling too. By the time we made it home, his parents had called saying they were so sorry and how none of that was meant to happen. His sister, on the other hand, called me a killjoy and a drama queen, and she told me it was rude to walk out after all her parents' hard work and for spoiling the celebration of a pregnancy. I hung up on her and I want to cry because her words stuck in my head. Since then, she and my husband got into a fight because she called me selfish and said I made the dinner about me. I wish I could feel like she's totally wrong, but I worry she's right.
I, 35-year-old...
Bestie, the dinner was about you. It was about your husband. It was about your husband that you've been struggling with to have kids. Your sister-in-law is a self-centered person. I said what I said. This was not the time for her to announce that she was pregnant. First of all, she could have just kept it at, oh, I'm pregnant. Period. I would have been like, that bike came to save y'all because I was about to go off. But I would have been like, okay, keep your peace, girl. It's not that deep. But she proceeded to comment. She proceeded to degrade you. She proceeded to be like, I just can't keep getting pregnant. Y'all could just be sitting next to my husband and get pregnant. It's a jab at you, bestie. Fight back, girl. Don't ever let anybody make you feel bad about like something that you can't physically fix. Girl, what the hell happened? Anyways. Right, girl, like never in your life allow people to make you feel bad about something that you can't physically fix. Like, bitch, if there was something that you could fix, if this was something that you could fix, bitch, you would have fixed it. But you can't. So she shouldn't be, girl, don't get me heated on this. This is so sensitive to me.
Female threw away old photos of my husband, 44 male, with his late wife years ago. He just found out and he hates me for it. I met my husband 4 years ago and it was love at first sight. He was a widow and he had a daughter who...
So I think she said she threw away all of her husband's ex-wife's photos. Okay, so second marriage. I'm pretty sure they have a kid. You are the asshole. I'm sorry, you are the asshole, because at the end of the day, I always say this when I talk to my friends, especially, like, I would never date a man with kids, and I would never date a man that's already been married or get married to a man that's already been married. Why? Because I low-key feel like I'm competing, even though I won't. It's complicated. Anyways, this is the case of a dead wife. So meaning he probably still loves that wife. she just passed away. That's why they ain't together. But you're the asshole because he has a kid with that woman that passed away. The kid is gonna grow up wanting to know her mother, his mother. I think it's her mother. You threw away anything that could like remind her of her mother. You're terrible. And it's probably out of like jealousy and insecurity.
Who is now 17. It was tough to deal with, I won't lie, but I wanted to be with him so badly that it didn't matter. We got married 2 years ago and we've had our struggles, I won't deny, but overall it was a very happy, love-filled marriage. At the beginning of our relationship, I was really jealous of his late wife. He had pictures of her around his home, his family loved her and talked about her all the time. It was tough. I was constantly comparing myself to her. She was beautiful, intelligent, and successful. She was a great mother, friend, wife, whatever you can think of.
So are you not those things? Are you not those things? Like, I feel like at the moment you feel some type of way about your partner's ex or anything, I think this is a time where you should talk to your partner about it. Clearly, this one was thebomb.com, the best, and everybody loved her. But I'm pretty sure if you spoke to them about it and said how it's affecting you because now you're his wife, they would probably stop or something. All of this is just out of jealousy over a dead woman, mind you.
I did speak to my then boyfriend about these feelings, and he even took down some of the pictures later on in our relationship. Still, his house never felt like my home, as it felt like it was still hers. When we got engaged, we decided we would buy our own home, and we moved in right before we got married. During the moving process, I found box after box of old photos and other materials. Photos of his ex, family photos, photos of them together.
Hold up. Girl, give me a second. I need to do... I'm sorry.
Baby photos, everything. Some of these were even Polaroids. They were so old. They had been together for many, many years and had so much history together. I don't know why at that moment I snapped, but I did. I threw the ones with her in them away in the garbage. When we were putting photos up in the new house, I didn't put any of her except ones with my stepdaughter. There was a box of her things, and I donated some of the items and threw the rest of them away. I even went onto the...
So, I realized while I was editing that my camera died halfway through the recording, so I'm just gonna let y'all listen to the rest of the Am I the Asshole post, and then in the next video, well, in part 2 at least, I'm just gonna carry on from there or repeat it. But I was going in on that story because homegirl was acting a little too crazy for my opinion. Like, I get that she was jealous, but like, to hurt her stepdaughter in such a way, and on top of that, you're gonna hear, but she like pregnant and everything. Like, girl, you knew what you were doing at the time, and I can't even blame you being a terrible human being on you being jealous, because out of jealousy, I would have probably, I don't know, burned his clothes. I would have never thrown away old pictures. Like, it's just some of y'all need therapy. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it to hurt nobody, but yeah, get help, guys.
At the time, I felt like I won maybe. I don't even know what I was thinking this would accomplish, but I did it. For the past 2 years, my husband hasn't noticed. My stepdaughter turns 18 soon. She's an intelligent girl. She graduated early, goes to a top-tier school, and is very well adjusted for someone who lost her mother so young. Anyway, my husband's mom wanted photos of her as she was putting something together for her. He went to look for them, and as you can imagine, they weren't there. He asked me about them, and I admitted everything to him as I wasn't going to lie to him. He is very angry at me, and he can barely look at me. I've asked him to go to marriage counseling, but he refuses. I'm 13 weeks pregnant, and I'm trying to manage the stress. He's devastated, not just for his daughter, but for himself. I know he loved his late wife very much, and if she was still here, he'd probably still be with her. He's been in tears half the time when he's speaking to me, and he won't sleep in the same room. I have tried to explain that I have felt guilty ever since and why I did it, but he doesn't care. He asked me what he's supposed to tell his daughter. Some of the material I donated/threw away were really important. I know that I screwed up, and I know that I need to make this up to my husband and his daughter, but I don't know how to. This was such a monumental screw up on my part. I've always been jealous of her, and I did not handle my emotions correctly. I have tried to track down photos of her by other people, and while I did find some from his parents and her friends, her parents died when she was young, and she was raised by her grandparents who are now dead. There aren't many photos of her out there.
So, you see, like, I could have forgiven her if it was just that, like, listen, first of all, I couldn't forgive her. I'm sorry. Had I been the husband, it would have been ground for divorce at that point. It's the fact that it's not that she's jealous, it's that she low-key knows that. Sorry, I'm just, girl, I recorded a whole rant. I just need to reiterate it before this video ends. But it's that she knows that it's not just jealousy. I feel like she knows that had this woman not died, she would have been, they would have still been married. And to her, that insecurity in her position as his other wife isn't, like, she's not secure in her position as his wife. That's why she had to do what she had to do. Because now, I'm sitting there like, okay, but you threw the pictures. She threw pictures, Polaroids, everything that reminded him of his wife, or that was a representation of his wife that died. And she felt good. Like, it's basically her saying, oh, I won this round. And it's like, no, you didn't. Like, I feel like this man is a little too nice with you, because had it been me, you would have been out of my life that moment, because this is such a big part of my life, and you just threw it away without second thoughts because of your own insecurities. Now, can we pass the fact that people keep saying how the ex-wife was so great and everything? No, we can't. But that's something that can always be fixed. You can always be like, you guys make me uncomfortable if you say some things like that around me. But homegirl throwing away all of those things just because she was insecure, oh, it's just terrible. And I keep thinking of this now 17/18-year-old girl, and her not having anything that reminds her of her mother that was very much alive when she was growing up, meaning she knows who her mother is, but everything that is to remind her of her mother is now gone because of her stepmother's jealousy and insecurity. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't date people that already been married, but if their partner is dead and the only reason that they're single is because the partner is dead, then bro, if you're not ready for that load and that responsibility, then just don't get involved, because now you done hurt two people because you're insecure and jealous. And the fact that she tried to be like, oh my god, I'm pregnant, I'm trying to deal with the stress. Baby girl, you kept this secret for 2 years. You had 2 years to confess. You had 2 years to get out of your insecurity and be like, yo, I messed up. And the fact that the ex-wife was raised by her grandparents, her parents died. Like, bro, oh, she's such a terrible person. But in conclusion, yes, you are the asshole. You are a major asshole. And I hope that husband actually shuns you and makes you realize just how much of an asshole you were right now. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's not my life. As you can see, I got the video short because this is a long ass video, and I do not and my camera, I was about to be, I don't have the time. No, I have the time, but my camera is just not, like, it's long. So I'm about to cut it up in multiple sections. I might have different outfits in between, in the part 2 and the part 3. So yeah, I didn't want to make this video too long. It's already long as hell. But yeah, that was that. Like, comment, and subscribe. Be good people, y'all. Be good people. Don't get my blood boiling like this, because I was ready to fight. Anyways, I'm gonna see you at the next one. Stop being assholes.